Everyone, once more, we're almost to the end. Hello guys, welcome, or if you've already seen my channel before, welcome back. I'm the Philadelphia Whovian, and as you saw in the title sequence, yes, we're talking about that thing called Star Trek, the original series. And welcome to part 5 of this ranking. Yes, I've been at this for quite a while now. And also, guys, my apologies for those who've seen my channel before. If you've realized, oh, she's not been posting videos lately, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. There was a technological problem. Guys, my laptop broke down. I had no means of recording and uploading anything, but the times have changed. I got a new laptop and now all is right in the world. And also, for those of you guys who are new to my channel, those of you guys who have seen me before, you know how this goes. Yes, new people watching my channel, you're not watching a fancy video with all these great title sequence and pictures. You're watching a video of a person who literally looks at the camera. She's looking at you, and she just talks. She keeps talking, and that's all there is. So buckle up. And guys, now that we're on part 4, yes, we're going now from number 30 in the ranking to number 21. Oh yeah, we're hitting the really juicy part of the ranking. And guys, if you are new and you've not watched any of my previous videos on the other episodes before this, you can watch part 1 and part 4, but if you don't care, welcome to part 5. Wait, is this part 5 or part 6? I'll find out later. Wait a minute, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh god, I have no idea. I have no idea what my part 5... I'll figure out in the title sequence. Work with me! Work with me! Okay, now, coming at number 30. Okay, from season 3 of the original Star Trek series, we have Is There in Truth No Beauty? And this is where you get a recasting, where the actress from Return to Tomorrow, she returns again to this episode of Is There in Truth No Beauty? The way this is, there is an ambassador who comes aboard the Enterprise, but he comes from an alien race that is, like, their minds are absolute geniuses, but they are physically grotesque to look at. And he has an ambassador with him, a woman who is telepathic and can read minds. She's absolutely gorgeous in every way, and she assists him. She was trained on Vulcan, but this initial job was actually Spock's to do. Spock was asked to help this ambassador or to serve with him, and Spock turned it down because he was a member of Starfleet. And there's a jealousy between her and Spock, the woman who is helping with this ambassador, this person with a beautiful mind who's actually very physically grotesque in real life, you know, and he has to be literally put into a box so people don't see his form, because if you see him, you will go mad. That's how grotesque he actually is. And throughout this entire episode, it turns out there is a murderer on board where it's crime of passion, and ultimately the Enterprise gets knocked out of whack and thrown headlong across the universe, but it turns out the ambassador, he has a way of getting them back, and he must take over Spock's body to control the Enterprise to get them back home. And this leads to Spock actually going mad and the woman having to help Spock out of the madness. But there's a shock in there. There's something else to her that only maybe one of them, aka Dr. McCoy, Bones, knows about. And she's an absolutely beautiful woman who's looking after and serving this grotesque creature who has a beautiful mind. This is in season 3. People often have no expectation of these episodes, but I absolutely love this episode. It's just something about it just speaks to me. The surprise at the end was really unique. I just think it's a very, very, very good story. I like everything about it. I love the acting in it. All the acting I thought was very good, but that could just be me. Either way, I don't apologize. So next we have up is number 29, and that is, okay, this episode, I almost hear nobody talk about it. It's from season 2. It's called Metamorphosis. So, Captain Kirk, Bones, Dr. McCoy, if you don't know Star Trek, I should say, whenever I say Bones, I mean Dr. McCoy. Bones is his nickname, but he's the doctor of the Enterprise. Okay, so, Bones, Captain Kirk, and Spock, they actually are on a shuttlecraft going back to the Enterprise because they picked up an ambassador, a lovely woman who has now gotten sick because she was not given the proper vaccination. It was a rare disease. Nobody thought she would get it. No one even thought it was possible for her to get it. She got it, and so they're taking her back so she can get treated. Unfortunately, an entity knocks him off course and takes him down to a planet where there is a man who was there. He was once a part of Starfleet. But here's the thing. He was a man who was recorded missing, and when he was recorded missing, he was an old man. But now we have this young man who's there. He's literally this young, incredibly gorgeous actor. He is happy to see them because he was all alone on this planet except for one entity that was with him. He was all alone on this planet. But what also was on this planet was something called the Companion. She is this cloud of an entity, and she is what made him young again and offered him companionship. But he was lonely, so she, the companion, knocked the shuttle off course so that he could have companionship. And it's all about embracing the difference of each other to show what love truly is and can be. It's a very unique story, and it's a very personal story. It's a very emotional story, and I think it gets overlooked for that, but it's beautiful in its own way. It's all about, here you are loving something that cared for you, then you find out what it is, and you get disgusted by it, and then afterwards you learn to grow and realize, oh, to widen your horizons. I call this the Hyde of Season 2. Okay, when I say Hyde, those of you guys who watch Doctor Who, like I do, there's an episode in Series 7 of Doctor Who called Hyde. And Hyde has, well, this, Star Trek, of course, happened long before Hyde existed. But each season of the original Star Trek has, I call, a Hyde episode. An episode that's all about embracing what is different than you, or, love in all essentials, loving something that you did not expect to love, a sense of intimacy in the narrative, and that's what Metamorphosis is. So this probably never gets on anybody's list of being a very high up there, but I absolutely love Metamorphosis. Next we have up number 28, another episode from Season 2, The Immunity Syndrome. Oh yes, this gets overlooked, but it's really cool. It starts out with Spock literally gets shocked because he senses the death of many Vulcans. And there's this entity that actually destroys a Vulcan ship, but also destroys everything around it. It's like a black hole, but inside that black hole is an entity. And Spock actually goes into the entity to find out how to destroy it. And it's all about winding down the clock of finding out, will Spock survive this or not survive this? That is the question. And it's, Kirk is faced with this dilemma of sending out Spock. He does not want to send out Spock because he's worried about Spock, but Spock has to go anyway. And it's just a good story. I think doesn't get enough love. Again, the acting's very good. I personally like it. But each to his own. So let me know what you think about it in the comment section. Up next we have up is number 27. Guys, you're going to get mad at me for this being so low on the list, but I'm going to reiterate, everything from this part of the list down are excellent stories. So here we go. This is just where it fell. Next we have up is number 27, The Menagerie, Part 1 and Part 2. This is the only two-parter in the original show. The Menagerie was actually cut and pasted, or it was an amalgamation, or, cut and pasted, of the pilot, the original pilot of Star Trek called The Cage. That was taken up. And this script happened because they were running out of scripts. So Gene Roddenberry took the script of the first pilot of The Cage, broke it up, and put a courtroom scene in it, which simply is, we have Commander Pike. Commander Pike starts out this story. He is completely damaged from an accident on his ship where he saved a lot of lives but couldn't get on time. Now he's confined to a chair. He literally can't even move his arms, and there is burns on the side of his face. Spock literally deceives everyone, pretends like they received a message to go back to headquarters, all so he could get Commander Pike and take him to the planet that they had gone to before, where there's this alien race that is all about and very good at creating images, mirages, and, not hallucinations, but delusions. It can make you believe you're in this magical world, or it can make you believe you're in any world you want to be in. It can, whatever you dream up, it can make. So it can make Pike believe That he's still a young, handsome man, and he has a woman waiting for him, and he's absolutely in love, and he's perfectly fine, and he's happy. It's got that. And so it took the cage, the pilot, and it broke it up in a way that Spock gets called out and court-martialed because he took the Enterprise against orders to take Pike to this planet. And it's about Spock surprising you. Because, Vulcans cannot lie, but Spock being so deceptive in what he's doing, it shocks you. But at the end of the day, we see how loyal of a person Spock is. He just wanted to get Pike to a place where he can live out his life being happy. And Kirk is faced with the dilemma of believing in Spock, but also being like, Spock, how could you betray me? But at the end of it all, it's all well and good. It's a good two-parter, very, very good. Heavily would recommend it. Next we have up is number 26. This might shock you for it being so high, but I love it. The last episode from season 1, Operation Annihilate. Oh God. I called it, I'll explain in a second why I call it this. But Operation Annihilate is a story where, poor Captain Kirk, he loses everybody. There's a planet that's being invaded by these entities that I call this story the Dalek kind of story, because these entities are like Dalek embryos. They're like these massive gooish creatures that get on your back and put you through excruciating pain and manipulates you into doing what it wants you to do. And the only thing that destroys these creatures is immense sunlight. But they only discover this because Spock gets stung by it. He's in extreme pain. He goes down to the planet, though, and controls his pain. He goes down to the planet, captures one of these things, takes it back on the Enterprise, and they find out that extreme light, it's light, that actually destroys these entities. But to destroy it, they got to put it on Spock so it completely removes the entities from Spock. It does, but it blinds Spock. At the end of season 1, Spock is blind. But I'm not going to tell you how it ends to give you the shocking of it, but it ends all's well, ends well, and it's just a good story. I have a fun time with it. Never hear anyone talk about it, but I like it. I just do. Number 25 from the first season again, one of the earlier episodes, Charlie X. It starts out with this young man in fact, teenager, being brought on the Enterprise. He was discovered on a planet where he literally survived by himself, or he said he did, but actually that's not true. He goes on the Enterprise, and being a young teenage boy, he has all these urges, sexual urges for everybody to like him. But here's the problem. When he was on this planet, the only reason he survived was because of another alien species there that taught him and gave him their powers. He's very telekinetic. He can control many things with his mind. But mix this power with a young adolescent teenage boy who wants to be loved, wants a woman he has a crush on to fall in love with him. He is obsessive. And because of it, he is hostile and he lashes out. This is what we see: a teenage boy who has all these powers and he has nothing to rein him in. It's just a very interesting take on adolescence and the maddening frenzy of the teenage years. And Kirk trying to be like a father figure to him, but ultimately having to give him up because this kid is destructive. It's just a unique story. I never would have thought to write a story like this. I would never even thought of it. And so that's why I find it very clever. It's a unique take on the adolescent era and what happens when you're a teenager with all these urges and you're given unlimited power. Next we have up from number 24 from, again, season 1, This Side of Paradise. Okay, so the Enterprise goes onto this planet where, because of solar flares, etc. and so forth, there should have been a unit or a crew or a mission, missionary group that came onto the planet to cultivate the planet, to make it hospitable, and also to make it a good planet. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied here. A good planet for farming. So yes, we have an expedition of people. That's the correct word for it. Expedition of people who, it turns out, the Enterprise goes there thinking they're all dead because of the solar flares or because of what's happening around the planet. No, these people are thriving and they are happy. Why? Because of what are called spores. There's a flower on this planet that sucks up the power from the solar flares and protects them from dying under it. But these spores also, they're like a drug of ecstasy, where they get ejected and they get emitted on you, and they make you consistently happy. They literally make you just happy with what you are, and you're happy with who you are, and loving who you want to love, and who loves you. They get to love you back. It's just paradise. It's like you're now in Eden. That's what it is. It's like Eden. Unfortunately, you can't stay in Eden, and Captain Kirk has to literally get Spock, because Spock gets under its spell, and he even falls in love. And even Spock was happy, but Kirk somehow snaps out of it, and he gets Spock on board so they can all make sure to release their Enterprise crew from this curse or spell of the spores. Powerful story. I love it. I think it's a story that people do like, they just forget about. Next we have up is number 23, again from season 1, Return of the Archons. Okay, this is the story that, guys, tell me in the comment section in case I'm wrong, but I believe this is the story that inspired the movies on the TV show The Purge. Because Return of the Archons, it's a story about how the Enterprise crew goes onto a planet, and this planet of people, they all look unbelievably happy. But then there's something called the Red Hour, where they go from being happy and just being nice to each other to randomly, at the Red Hour, there is just carnage. Everybody goes mad and crazy. They just bash things through windows. Women are attacked by men, and just like their clothes are being ripped off. It's like pretty much rape, practically. You are on, like, the Red Hour is literally a whole time. It's like a assigned time where people just let loose and they just be criminals. But then once that's done, they go back to being kind. And it turns out this planet is controlled by a computer system, and Kirk orders the destruction of the computers, so this planet can start thriving again. It might ignore the Prime Directive, but not really. These people are not functioning properly, and even Spock understands this has to be done. Here's the thing with this one. I see it's inspired by The Purge because the Red Hour, but why is it called Return of the Archons? Because they are considered Archons because a crew, another another Federation starship came to the planet before, and it was called the Archon, or it was called something like that. So people from this planet always called them the Archons, but in reality they didn't know that. So that's why it's called the Archons, because they think that the people on the Enterprise are Archons. So I think it's a great story. Seriously, give this one a shot. This one does not get enough love. Next we have up is number 22 from season 2, The Deadly Hours. Yes, The Deadly Hours. There is a planet they go on, and this planet, there's something about it down there. Something about it that makes people get old very quickly and die within days after they're on that planet. And it's watching Kirk, Scotty, Spock, and also Bones get old right before our very eyes, and it's tragic. And William Shatner is giving a phenomenal performance in this. Because they're getting old, they can't remember things, and therefore they can't control the Enterprise. So Kirk has to be forced to step down from being captain, but he doesn't want to give up his spot. And Spock has no choice but to make him step down and put someone else in his place. And Kirk feels so betrayed. He's heartbroken. Spock is heartbroken for doing this to Kirk. It's just a story that's beautiful because of how it pushes the crew and Kirk and Spock's relationship to the absolute limit. Whoa, you just feel bad for Kirk and Spock at the same time. Now, number 21 from the first season, The Enemy Within. Haha! The Enemy Within, classic. This is where there's a problem with the beam-up system on the Enterprise, and because of it, Kirk's personality was split in two. His good side and his bad side were split in half. So there's one Kirk on board, then there's the evil Kirk, and he is malicious. And you're watching William Shatner give... If I ever say William Hartnell instead of William Shatner, sorry. I get their names mixed up. William Shatner giving a phenomenal performance as these dual personalities. But Spock very quickly finds out what's going on and believes what's going on. And we see how the duality of nature, how we humans actually need the evil sides of us, because the evil sides of us is the confident sides, and our good sides are kind of our passive sides. So both good and evil need to coexist in the human body to be a full-fledged character. Very interesting on the human psyche. And man, do you feel bad for the yeoman in this. She experienced a lot of scary moments under the horrible side of the Captain Kirk, the evil Captain Kirk. But yes, this is my list for this part. Guys, let me know what you think of these episodes. Nice talking to you. We'll see you again very soon for the next set of videos. Bye, guys.